welcome to Your Life Story, a space to explore the journey from survival to authenticity. I'm Sajine, and here we dive into the raw truths of breaking free from the expectations we've grown up with, rediscovering our voices, and thriving after life's challenges. But this isn't just about my story, it's about life. From relationships and self-discovery to the messy, beautiful questions we all face. No topic is off limits here. So if you're ready to embrace courage, healing, and living life on your own terms, you're in the right place. Let's connect. Let's grow. Welcome to the journey. Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for informational, inspirational purposes only. I'm not a licensed therapist, counselor, or medical professional, and the content shared here is based on the personal experience and insights. If you're facing significant challenges, please seek the support of a qualified professional. Remember, your journey is unique, and you deserve the care and guidance that's right for you. Well, welcome. I am so happy to have you here with me on another day in this journey that we have. It's important for us to always seek these things in our lives. And today I have a great show for you. It is something that actually was one of my best shows on YouTube. Yay! I'm so happy that I have reached out to so many individuals who feel this way, and I believe it's a great topic to expand on. And that is, they took everything, but I still believe in love. So we'll talk about how to heal when life breaks you and you want to close your heart. You know, they shattered your trust. They left you questioning your worth. But deep inside, there's still a flicker of hope. Hope that love is still possible. In today's powerful episode, I open up about the grief of what was stolen, innocence, time, identity, opportunities, but also how I chose to believe in love again, even when everything in me wanted to shut down. We'll talk about why grief is a necessary step before healing, how trauma tricks us into believing love is dangerous, practical tools to reclaim your heart without losing your boundaries, how to know when it's safe to love again, how to rebuild trust in a world that broke you. This episode is for anyone who's ever been discarded, betrayed, or emotionally abandoned, but still longs for real, deep healing connection. So please subscribe. Share this with someone who's healing in silence. They stole years of my life. They stole my voice. And for a long time, I believed love was the enemy. But something inside me refused to die. You know, it's true. It's one of those things where I'm not going to. I mean, at first, mind you, I was like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. And I think that's important for us to understand that we have a right to start over again, you know, in this life, but you have to grieve. Strongly believe it, because if you don't, then you get thrown into something else that you might not want. You know, I know some people will do it because why? They don't want to be alone. But then they don't really know who they're with. And I get it. You will say, I know this person. Yeah, so did I. You know, I thought I knew this person after being with them for, multiple years. And yeah, some of you might be saying, hey, if you didn't see it in multiple years, then the issue was you. And you're right. I do believe some of that was with me, but it's because of how I was taught how love should be. We could see it in shows, movies, schools, other relationships that we thought were, healthy, and they're not. So, but that's why I'm learning how to do something better in my life. So this is for anyone who ever felt like they had nothing left to give. but still secretly hoped love was real. I'm there. It's taken so many years. I mean, it was bad. But now I'm starting to think, hey, I believe I should be able to have love. But I'm working on myself first, because they say if you want to attract what you want, you got to be them first, right? And it's the way that you can share and be there. So let's see what we can find out. What was stolen from you? List emotional losses. What could it have been? Time, peace, innocence, safety, dignity, love, your sense of self. I think that's a lot to lose for someone that you thought loved you, and just because you wanted somebody by your side who you thought was respectful but really wasn't there. That is so much what makes you a human being. Anybody who can do that to you, I believe that is just cruel. I don't think that's okay. The time, I can't get my time back. That one really gnaws at me, because I'm no longer that spring chicken, like they say. And I've lost things. I can't have more children, because why? I mean, even if I could, do I really want to be a mother at an older age, No. Peace. Peace is something that's important. I never thought, we hear all this, oh, we want world peace and all this. That's all fine and dandy. But how about your own internal peace? We're reaching for the stars when it should be your own internal peace first. And I bet if everybody did that, then we would have a peaceful world, because we would have respect, right, for each other. Innocence. That one is a hard one, because in my mind, I thought everybody wanted to be better, and that the ones that didn't want to be better, you could see them, their face, how they dressed, how they acted. Boy, was I wrong. And I'm glad, because now I know better. Safety. Oh my gosh, safety is so important. Without safety, what are you going to do? That causes so much stress and anxiety in people's lives, and everybody thinks they can just medicate it away and you'll be fine. And you know what? I'm not here to disrespect anybody on medications, because, whatever you have to do to get yourself to calm down at the beginning, when it's done respectfully with your doctor's orders and legally, then that's something that you're there. You're under their care. I get it. But, I've been reading a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it shows in there that most of that medication is there temporarily, but it doesn't fix anything. And sometimes if you're on a long-term use, it actually causes major issues in your life. And all because we want safety. If we had safety, oh my goodness, we would have the amount, we wouldn't be afraid to speak. Dignity, that one is the hardest. Well, I guess they're all hard. Dignity, the ability to have my life as a human being is reduced per my circumstances still. And I don't think that's okay, but I don't think it's going to change ever, because it's been that way since the beginning of time. So I just have to be more astute. I have to be stronger and keep going. Love. That one hurts, because I think to myself, if this individual wouldn't have done this, they took the ability for somebody who really loved me, for me to spend all those years with them, build a beautiful family. They took that away. How dare they do that? That should be illegal right there. Taking the love away from you. Your sense of self. I became basically a housewife slave. And I'm not saying that to every housewife, because everybody knows, and consents to what they want and they have loving partners, and that's different. What I'm saying is about mine or others who have gone through this. Your sense of self is taken away. Why? Because it's go, go, go. You have to take care of this adult person, which I think they should be able to take care of themselves. And when you find out, like me, now that I've been out, I think, oh my gosh, they took so much away from me. And yeah, mind you, yeah, I still got time, but now I feel like I have to like rush it just to get to where I believe I should be. But you know what? There's something that I loved about Joe Rogan that I was listening to, where he said, I've come to the realization that I can't learn everything and anything, because even with all the years that I have learning, there's just so much in this world that we have to be okay with some things that we will never learn because there's not enough time, bandwidth in our brains to be able to do that. And you have to come to the realization is what is most important to you to learn and what will it help you in your life. Name the pain without sugarcoating it. I think that's important. You know, so many people hate it when you voice your pain. But you know what? I name it. It's anger, sadness, anxieties. You know, you become anxious. So many things. And some people, when they listen to that, they don't like it. But then I think the best thing is not to tell them. Only the ones that you trust, because the ones that you can't trust, then they use that against you. So that's something else I've learned as well. You know, other common griefs that I've heard is a narcissistic discard. Oh my gosh. That is brutal. I believe that is worse than going to war, because now you're seeing something totally mind-bending, scary of what they do. They go hot and cold, and they're basically like a tornado coming at you. There's no rhyme or reason. And why would you? Because you're not that person, you know. I believe you need to be strong. Parental neglect. That's another grief that I hear about. Workplace betrayal. Oh my gosh. That one's so hard. You know, then you wonder why so many people are job hopping. You know, there's so much betrayal. You know, whether you get labeled. There comes a trouble coworker. Weak one. It's not true. We're trying to keep a home, food, everything in place. And yet they come along and put more stress on you. Romantic trauma. Oh my gosh, that one's hard. More trauma. It's always trauma. But you know what? We're strong and we're going to get through it. Doesn't mean we can't cry. Can't mean we don't need somebody to hold on to. We can hold on to them. So I like to say grief is your body's way of saying, I remember what I deserved. What grief reveals about the heart? Grief isn't weakness. It's proof you once loved deeply. Hardest thing is to grieve somebody when they're still alive. Yet you don't see that personality that you once knew. This individual told me, you will never see that person, he said, ever again. And that freaked me out, because I was like, well, if I don't get to see that person that I saw for decades, who are you? How grief shows us what matters most to us. I think that's in everything, not only in relationships, but in everything. Anytime we grieve something, it shows us what matters most to us in our lives. And to me, what matters most is me. Being able to live as a human being, as a mother, as a future wife, as a loving human being. The temptation to become bitter or cold. Oh, why not? You say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. Or some people start hating others because they believe that's what it is. But you know what? I've heard a lot of people say bitterness and cold. I was told I was bitter or cold just because I voiced some concerns for my little ones. And so they thought, oh, she's just a bitter old woman who is upset because her man doesn't want her anymore because she's of no use. You know, it's not bitterness. You just want justice for the disrespect, the hurt, the terror they put you through. That's what it is. The lie, if I never care again, I won't be hurt again. You know, life is very complex. Yes, we can decide never to be with somebody else again. I think that's okay. If you never want to be married, if you never want to have children, and you just want to go on the solo journey of your life, that is fine. Why? It's your life story. You get to choose. People say, well, you're going to just regret it. No. I chose marriage. The only thing I regret was that I lowered my standards just so I wouldn't be that 30-year-old who would never get married. No. Now I have to deal with so much pain after that. It's not worth it. But I do want to love again. Why? Because I've had years to heal and straighten things out. I have a very analytical and emotional mind. I know, it's an interesting mind. And once I've analyzed a lot of things, and then I check my emotions out, now I'm like, oh no, I would really like to. But now I don't know where to start because I don't want to go through it again. You know, it's just way too much. It's like being in those scary fun houses. It's just not fun though, because there is a haunted house mixed in with it. And just to get out of it is grueling. So bitterness is a wall. Boundaries are a bridge. And your heart knows the difference. It so does. And I used to just quiet myself because I thought, oh, you're just being anxious again. Oh, you're just being fuddy-duddy like people used to tell me. I know, my words are old. But that's okay. I want you to keep moving forward. Choosing to believe in love again. You don't have to feel ready to believe again. You just have to want to. I decided once I felt healed enough, don't let anybody push you. You do it until you feel like you can do this again. It's like falling off a horse, right? Once you feel ready, get on. I know some people are going to be like, no, just get on. No, because you're going to fall off. Loving again doesn't mean tolerating abuse again. Oh, no, because I don't believe abuse and love even correlate with each other. It just doesn't. Love is respect, honor, so much. Abuse is not. Reclaiming love as your standard, not their weapon. I remember telling this individual what love or friendship really meant. And he was like, oh, what? You're now the expert? Well, yeah. I'm not going to, have them hurt me anymore. Healthy love feels like safety, mutual growth, accountability, freedom to speak truth. Oh my goodness. All the things that an abusive relationship basically stomps and tells you to be silent. I like to say that safety is something that I never had. So I didn't know really how it would feel. Now that I'm on my own, I know what safety is. You are never anxious. You don't have headaches. You don't have all the things that scare you. My home is a safe home. Just like my podcast here is a safe space. I want everybody to feel happy and know that when you say, yes, I'm safe, your body actually relaxes. It's beautiful. Mutual growth. Yes, I stopped that. I'm a person who loves to learn like crazy. I'm a college graduate. This individual wasn't. And I did not want to discriminate them for that. But I love to learn everything. This individual didn't. They actually had the same circular conversation over and over again about their teenage years, about how awesome they were, how G.I. Joe basically they are, and that was not them. I mean, there was times with conversations with other people, he would bring the same thing over and over again, and everybody just thought, like, what the heck? This person just keeps saying the same thing over and over again. There's never anything new about them. It's always about facts about everything to make them look cool, but never anything of substance. And that's something I should have seen. And I should have said no, because I love having substance. I love having intellectual conversations. And that wasn't the case. The only thing really, it was about God. And even then, now I know it was just rehearsed. When this individual was not in my house anymore, I actually went to the Bible that I had given to him. And I noticed that there was no notes in there. It was crazy. And I thought, oh, this person's really religious. But no, they weren't. They were just faking it. Accountability. They need to have, if they do something wrong, they need to be able to say, I'm sorry, and this is what I'm going to do to make it better. Why? Because if you love somebody, you will do anything so the relationship flows again. Freedom to speak your truth. You got to speak your truth, because if not, then how are you going to make things better? Right? Constructive feedback. I know. And something I like to say is, I'm not naive for wanting love. I'm wise for redefining what it means. Other stuff that I believe is important. Healing solutions for the listener. And I want you to take these things. They're actionable items. Heart inventory. Journal prompt. What did I lose? And what do I still carry that's worth protecting? Love redefinition exercise. My new definition is love is blank. Let go of old programming. What are you going to think of my new definition love is? Mine is mutual respect. Safe connection challenge. Reach out to one emotionally safe person this week. Notice how your body feels when you're not in survival mode. Another thing that I would like to say is you got to learn all these things, because the thing is, the more you learn, the more it helps you move forward. Journaling actually helps you so you don't forget of what they did to you. So that way you don't go back. Read it, and then you go, not going back. Why? Because us as humans, our brain is trying to always help us get out. And sometimes we can't see those things that we've cached away in our brain. Do something. Define what love is for you, and not what society shows or anybody tells you. Define what love is. Mine was when I went back to the Bible and I saw what the definition of love is. And whoa, my relationship was not there. I believe I was doing too many of the religious rituals instead of really what God wanted me to see. And that's how it is. Many times they say, oh, Jesus is love. So that means he loves everything. So you need to be a good woman and keep going to church, keep praying for that person, because who knows? Maybe 60 years down the road, he will find God and he will surrender, and then you can be happy. I'm sorry, but if you have to wait 60 more plus years for this person to believe that God is there for them and to be able to respect you, that is not true. The person is probably getting ready to pass away. And so now they're trying to even manipulate that, because now they're saying, if I don't do it, I'm not going to heaven. And I don't think that's okay, because they've ruined yours. Even in the Bible says you should not be a stumbling block. You can't do that. And I know this is very passionate subject for me, because I was told the same thing. They said, oh, who knows? Maybe you'll be the one who brings them back to God. No, because obviously if I would have read my Bible more than have that the Bible regurgitated back to me, I would have seen that God says, don't cast your pearls to swine. Guard your heart. God has boundaries everywhere. He moved when people were being disrespectful. He's very intelligent. So if I am product of God, then I need to do that. So for my religious people, this is what you do. If you're not religious, that's fine. I still respect you. And you're still a human being. And you still deserve love and respect, dignity. Keep finding that information for yourself. So, and find that safe connections. It has to be there, because the moment that somebody treats you like you are just cuckoo, move along. They're not safe. So my final encouragement is, even if they stole the past, they don't get to steal your future. Love didn't fail you. People did. And there's still a version of love that is honest, mutual, and healing. Keep your heart open and protect it wisely. So my call to action to you is, share this with someone who is grieving in silence. Follow my show on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube as well, because I will be putting my podcast as well on YouTube. I think it's important to have as many outlets for people who need it. Tag me on Instagram if this spoke to your soul. So I just want to say thank you so much for being there for me. And I believe it's important to keep moving forward. It's something that is beautiful. So thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Your Life Story with Sajine. I hope it gave you something to think about, feel, or explore on your journey. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share it with someone who might need it, or reach out to connect. So please, thank you so much for being there with me.